and we'll play some tune at the start. So I'm going to ask you, can you pretend you're playing the guitar with me? Pretend you're playing the guitar. Well done at the back, good guitarist. Now pretend you're playing the violin. Can I just say so you did that so well? If there's anybody passing by, will think, what a good time they have.
Great time there.
We better get ourselves around the day. Well, we'd like you to join in. Here we go. Jingle bells, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in one horse open sleigh. Hey! Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in one horse open sleigh. Dashing in the snow, one horse open sleigh. All the hills we go, we're laughing all the way. Bells on love to play, making spirits bright. Fun it is to laugh and sing, sleighing songs tonight. Oh, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in one horse open sleigh. Hey! Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in one horse open sleigh. Oh, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in one horse open sleigh. Hey! Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in one horse open sleigh. The ladies on the road this time, ready? Jingle bells, oh, what fun it is to ride in one horse open sleigh. The man. Say it quiet, last time. Oh, what fun it is to ride in one horse open sleigh. What do they say? Hey! Well, we are here, not just. You might have heard us, but all I need you to do is to listen. And if you're ready. There was a man. Can you make a man with me? There was a man, and he was tall, but he was old, and he was cold. Can you show me how cold he was? And he had a house, and in that house he would take leather, and he would stitch, and he would hammer, and he would sew, and he would make the best shoes in all of Germany. But things had changed inside of the town, and not everybody went past his shop. And now all he had in all of this world was one piece of leather. Can you show me one thing like this? One piece of leather. And he had it, and he cut it, and he started to make the shape of the shoes, but he was old and he was cold. Can you all do that with me? He was old and he was cold. for the table, and he left it there, and he said to himself, I shall not make the shoes tonight, I shall make them tomorrow morning. And he went up the stairs. Can you make him go up the stairs? And he went up the stairs and he went to his sleep. But the very next day when he stretched, can you all stretch with me? And he got himself dressed. And he went down the stairs. And when he got to the bottom of the stairs, he looked on the table and he gasped. It was so much louder than that, he gasped. He couldn't believe his eyes, because there he could see on top of the table 2 shoes, a left shoe and a right shoe. And he smiled to himself and he thought, who has made those shoes? And he shouted for his wife. And he shouted for his wife, wife! Now we were hoping for some help here, okay? And he shouted for his wife, wife! And his wife came down the stairs and she said, oh, what's the matter with you? He said, wife. He said, did you make those shoes? And she looked and she said, no. You're the one who makes the shoes in this house. You are the shoemaker. I don't know who made those shoes. Now he didn't care, because they were stitched so well and hammered so beautifully. And he took the shoes and he put it in the window to his shop. Now it so happened that there was a man walking along, and he was very proud. Can you show me how proud he was? He was proud. And he was walking, and he was lost in the town, and as he walked past the window, he saw the shoes, and he stopped. And he looked. Oh, look at those shoes. I must have those shoes. They are the best shoes I've ever seen in my life. And he knocked on the door. Put your hands like this. And he... I'm doing it. And he knocked on the door. And we love creaky doors. Ready? Here we go. 15 years in the bed sitting at the Royal College of Music, and that's the best you can get. And the door opened up. And he said, you, sir. What did he say? He said, you, sir. It's so much posh around here than I remember. He said, you, sir. I would wish to buy those shoes. How much do you want for those shoes? And the shoemaker looked and he said, I would wish to have, please can I have 1 golden florin? Now you know when you get chocolate money, and you get the chocolate money and it's all wrapped up and it's big and round like this, if you look at those chocolate coins, you'll see that they'll have written on a shilling or a florin. And this is a piece of money from a long time ago. It was big and round and shining and gold. And the rich man, he looked and he said, I will not pay you 1 golden florin. The shoemaker was sad. He said, no, I shall give you 2 golden florins for those shoes. And he counted it out. Can you count it out with me? 1 and 2, and he put the money in his pocket, and the rich man had the shoes upon his feet, and he started to dance out the road, and he said, oh, look at me with my beautiful shoes. And now the old man had enough money to buy, can you count with me, not 1, but 2 pieces of leather, and buy some food for him and his wife. And he cut the shoes out of the leather, and he cut it with me, and he cut the shoes out, but he was old and he was cold. Can you do that with me? He was old and he was cold. And he put the leather on top of the table. His wife was very curious. Can you touch your noses? She was very nosy. And she wanted to find out who had made the shoes, and she crept down the stairs, and she peeked through to see who it was. And at the tick and tock of midnight, can you do that with me? At the tick and tock of midnight, she looked and she saw in the corner of the room a head as small as your thumb. Show me how small it was. You're very good at this. And another head as small as your thumb. And 2 arms, and 2 legs, and 2 little men no bigger than this. 2 elves. And they climbed up the side of the table. Can you climb up? And they climbed up the side of the table, and they started to hammer. Can you do that with me? And they hammered and stitched and they made the shoes. And the wife looked, and she said, I know who has made the shoes. man came down the stairs. The old shoemaker, he looked and there he could say 2 pairs of shoes. He shouted to his wife. He went in to shout for the wife. He shouted, "Wife, did you make the shoes?" And she said, "No. But I know who did. It was 2 little men with heads as small as a thumb, and arms as long as your fingers, and legs as long as your little fingers, and they had old, terrible clothes on their back. They had ripped trousers, no hats on their heads, and no shoes upon their feet. And now that the snow is falling down," can you make the snow fall down like this? "And now that the snow is falling down, and it's Christmas Eve, they have done so well for us, we should make them some clothes." Now we put the shoes in the window, and who was walking past but 2 very rich people. They looked and they said, "Oh, look at those shoes." What did they say? "Oh, look at those shoes. They are the best shoes we've ever seen." And they knocked upon, can you do it with me? And they, I hope you're waiting. They knocked upon the door and said, "We would wish to buy those shoes. How much do you want for those shoes, old man?" And again he said, "I would like to have 1 golden florin." "We shall not pay 1 golden florin. We shall pay 4 golden florins for each pair." And now they had, now I've got your attention, now they had 8 golden florins. They could buy lots of pieces of leather and lots of food. But you know what? Because it was Christmas Eve and the snow was coming down, you're so good at this, and the snow was coming down, they did not cut out the leather, but they put a cup of wine, 2 cups of wine, as small as a thumb, 2 loaves of bread, as small as their little fingers, and put them on the table, and the 2 of them peeked out at the tick and tock of midnight. And they saw, can you do it with me? 2 little heads, 4 little arms, 4 little legs, and the 2 little elves climbed up the table, and they looked and they stopped. There was no leather for them to cut, nothing to stitch and nothing to sew. But they saw the clothes, and they pulled on the trousers, and they pulled on the shirts, they put the hats on their heads, the shoes on their feet, and they danced all around and they stopped. Because the hats on their heads were exactly the right size. The shirts on their back were the right size. The trousers on their legs were just right, and the shoes fitted them beautifully. And if they fitted them beautifully, they knew someone had seen them. And if they are seen, they can never, ever come back. But the shoemaker and his wife, they peeped out, and they saw the 2 little men drink that wine and eat the loaves, and they never came back. But he could make the shoes, and everyone would come to his shop, and he would have lots of pieces of leather to cut, and every Christmas Eve they would leave 2 cups. They would leave 2 loaves, and every Christmas morning they were gone. So they knew that the 2 little elves would visit them, and the old man would smile, and the old woman would smile, and the elves would dance and dance